And welcome, race fans, to another evening of some fun dirt racing. If you are joining us back after the Dirt Street Stocks, some of you folks may already know exactly what type of night we are in store for tonight with the race in action. We are here for the Mini Motorsport Doors Nationals in the Super Dirt Car Big Block Modified Series. Again, we are still at the dirt track at Charlotte. That's where the Dirt Street Stocks just got done running. You can see the track crews went out there and have resurfaced this, got this track in good shape, ready for these big block modifieds. I am Dustin Logston, and as always, on every Wednesday night, almost didn't happen tonight due to feeling under the weather, but still keeping that track record strong. Alongside me every Wednesday is the legend, the myth, the man, Mr. J Stan, Jeremy Stanley. How you doing tonight?
As I mentioned earlier, doing way better than yesterday. You mentioned about the track being resurfaced. That took them a half hour to get that thing cleaned up. So shout out to the track crew. Hell of a job getting this thing reset for the big block modifieds.
Yeah, for them to go out there and tear it up, as we would expect nothing less out of these drivers here. Some of the things that we had seen that we kind of figure would probably transition over and still happen. I'm hoping with these here being higher powered, a little bit more of a slide, a little faster corner entry and through the corner than the street stocks. I'm hoping to see the high line come in, and I know we said this in the dirt street stocks, but I would expect to see that high line come in as we have seen in previous league events throughout the last few weeks.
Yeah, my expectations out the window like they were a couple weeks ago. But these cars are a little bit faster, so when the cars are faster on a dirt track, typically the high line comes in earlier. We got the same amount of cars, it looks like, tonight as we did for street stocks. So it's hard to tell, man. Like I just really don't know where that line's going to end up after the dirt street stock race. It's just I expect the high line, yes. I expect the low line. All depends on the gearing with these cars, I guess. So some of these drivers ran in that race prior, and they had a line that was taken away from them because how their groups were set up. So, do you set up for the high? Do you set up for the low? I mean, I guess the heat races will kind of be a precursor to that notion, but we'll see tonight. Looks like about 9 cars going to set grid for tonight's main events overall. Looks like qualifying is official at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and actually take it off for the qualifying order, if you don't mind. Based off of qualifying time, Justin Pentecoff taking your top spot by 0.2 of a second. That's pretty impressive considering he was not the fastest in practice. Ran a really good qualifying lap time there. Swede Melgard, newcomer again. I guess he showed his face a couple times last season for their inaugural stuff, but he's coming in, I guess, cold turkey from the dirt street stock setup perspective. I'm not sure about the big blocks. Let's see if he's got custom setup made for this race. Third place will be Sean Krawcheck. Ran your fastest practice time, but still runs some pretty good times overall, especially in the qualifying run here. Kenny Haight, going to be P number 4. It's good to see him inside the top 5 as far as qualifying goes. That shows he's going to be a pretty strong car tonight. Dane Lloyd, newcomer to the league here, it looks like, at least from my notebook anyways. He's going to be in position number 5. Kevin Robinson, position number 6. Christopher Bellamy, if I am pronouncing that correctly, also looks like a newcomer to this league, so it's great to see. And then we're going to be rounding out the backfield with Christopher Hill and Blake Treywick.
Absolutely. And again, if you had seen the starting row was kind of malfunctioning there a little bit. That's to be expected. Every once in a while you have technical difficulties. Again, it's a couple newcomers that are in there. It's always good to see the newcomers, and we've seen what they could do and how they can deliver with how everything ran in the dirt street stocks, where we've seen Melgard come from, as far as we know, a newcomer, a no name, because we hadn't seen the name or anything else. Didn't know that that he had ran last season and came in and took the whole show. So it was really good to see that. I really look forward to see what they can offer with this entire race.
Yeah, Swade Melgard put on a hell of a show in that street stock race, and being P2 in the big block modified qualifying session there. Can he sweep the field for his first race of the season? That'd be pretty impressive, considering, like I said, the cold turkey start on his inaugural race there just about a half hour ago. Justin Pentecoff with that top spot. It's good to see some different names entering the first row. Good mixture there, and like I said, Kenny Hates in a good spot there. Dane Lloyd, newcomer. I'm curious to see how he's going to perform, and just really excited to get this heat race number 1 underway, so we can really get a good gauge of how the cars are going to be racing tonight.
And just as you say that, they are looking to start lining up heat race number 1. Again, the starting order that we showed you was solely based off of quick time and nothing else. That merely sets up the starting order, or the starting lineup rather, for the heat races. What determines your finishing order is going to be, or the starting order of your A main is going to be the finishing order of your heat races. All your inside row for your A main is going to be your heat 1. All your outside row for your A main is going to be heat 2. Again, it's a little different. Something else different, there is no cautions that fly during the heat races, but they will be utilizing what is called Delaware Start.
We didn't get any experience in that last race, so hopefully we don't have to actually describe it if they ran just like what they did in the last race. But I will actually go ahead and take over the running order for the race number 1, since they're about a lap or so away from getting that green flag out and underway. For heat race number 1, Justin Pentecoff, top spot in qualifying, takes top spot on the heat race number 1. Sean Krawcheck, position number 2. Row number 2 will be Dane Lloyd on his outside, and position number 4 will be Clifford Bellamy. And then to round out heat race number 1's 5th place will be Blake Trawick in that creative paint scheme there, I would say. Got a cow there in the dirt track.
Definitely one of the more creative paint schemes, and it's always fresh to see what some of these drivers bring to the track like that to stand out. I guarantee you're not going to see very many cows out there. As you can see, the back end of his car there says moo. Not going to see too many cows out there. So we get the green flag. Green flag flies. You see these cars really ramp into it as Pentecoff goes off into turn 1. But I tell you what, Krawcheck got an amazing start and definitely pulled forward on that high side as he now completely clears the 25 of Pentecoff. But you can't count out newcomer Cliff Bellamy up there, who is now challenging the 25 of Pentecoff. Is they're already trying to get that high side working in there, Jeremy?
No kidding, yeah. There's not even a groove up there yet, and he said, you know what, we're going to get this line started right now. I want this thing set up for the main race earlier the better for him. He's definitely doing that, and he's actually being pretty competitive too. As you see, he's holding Justin Pentecoff there on the bottom, basically identical lap times. It is allowing Sean to pace out just a little bit here. It is a 10-lap heat race, like we mentioned in the last race. It is typically 8 or 6 laps, but to see a 10-lapper is kind of cool to watch. It looks like Clifford actually starting to get his car's a little upset here. He did check up a lot. He gave a lot of space up to Justin Pentecoff. The side-by-side action is for 4th and 5th. Dane Lloyd and Blake, 2 newcomers to the league, almost caused contact there. Blake's car's a little upset. Spaces him out quite well, so Dane's going to comfortably take 4th place. And it looks like Justin might be creeping up a little bit here on Sean's lead.
Yeah, as you stated, it looks like a lot of these drivers are just out there trying to get the feel for their cars. As we had stated before, there's a number of setup changes, a number of changes that they try to make. Gearing was one that was mentioned before. We heard a lot of the drivers in the Dirt Street Stock Series make mention that they had the wrong gearing for where their car was at. Some were expecting a high line to be in. The gearing wasn't there. Some geared it for the low line, but their line was cut off by another driver. It definitely made things difficult out there. So, again, gearing is going to play a big part in this, and these drivers are out there trying to get a feel to see if they need to make any last-minute changes, possibly to gearing, before they hit the grid for that A main.
One car in particular is going to be Clifford here. His car is not handling the best. He keeps falling back. I did see him a couple laps ago just really slide really awkwardly into turn 3 and lose a lot of speed there. Looks like it's okay right now. Maybe running a little tight. If anything, it looks like it's pretty slow. As Blake up against the wall in turn 3 and 4 almost tips the cow right on over. He did back out early there after he did run the wall entirely in turn 3. So this car needs a lot of work as well. Coming to the white flag, it looks like Justin is crept up once again a little bit more on Sean, but I don't think it's going to be enough unless Sean makes a mistake. As they enter the backstretch here. No, actually, I'm sorry. I apologize. That was the last lap. They pull down to the backstretch there. So yeah, Sean's going to take your top spot. Looks like Justin's going to take position number 2. Clifford number 3, Dane Lloyd 4th, and Blake 5th.
Yeah, so again, it's excellent racing. This just goes to show some of these drivers are picking up right where they left off. So we know just from past experience, it's not that we like to pick on the same drivers or anything else or showcase the same drivers. It's just from past experience. In this league alone, we know that Krawcheck is going to be dialed in. We know Krawcheck is going to be dialed in. We can't mix out on Robinson. Robinson's usually pretty good. Kenny Haight usually has these dialed in pretty well. And based off the way he ran in the Dirt Street Stocks, we cannot count out Swade Melgard because he's been spot on thus far.
I miss him on the track. Our inside 2 cars are bright pink and bright purple. Again, with the creativity with these schemes, I do love the color contrast here and just everyone's paint schemes in general. To round out the heat race number 2 here, Swade Melgard's going to take away the first place position, and then second place will be Kenny Haight. And second row will be Kevin Robinson, and alongside of him will be Christopher Hill.
So again, a lot of names in this heat race here that have ran with each other before. Chris Hill was a driver that did finish up in the top 3 podium position in the Dirt Street Stocks, and so he was up there running side by side with Melgard. So again, should be some good racing here. Kind of interested to see what Melgard has for the big block modifieds here, and I'm curious to see how the other 3 drivers what they are going to have coming here, because it's the first visit we've had here at Charlotte. Green flag does fly. Kenny Haight does not get a very good start on that initial one, allowing Melgard to jump out, but he doesn't jump out very much, as the 60 of Robinson is right there, who also had a very good start. Now you see Melgard picking up right where he left off on that midline. Looks like his car is geared and set up for that midline. Robinson, on the other hand, is trying to go to that low line there. Gets cut off a little bit by the 15. It looks like the 15 on Melgard is starting to get in line a little bit, going through not the last set of corners, but the corners before. It looked like he had to check up a little bit and kind of chase the car. It seems like the car is now finally starting to set back into place.
Yeah, that almost had a 2-car wreck there for sure. Kenny with some awesome maneuvers to avoid getting that wreck. 4th place there, Christopher Hill is all over the place. He definitely needs to rework something, at least for his long run, because right now this short run his car is super loose back there. But as we go back to the top 3 running order here, Kenny kind of regrouped, running a little on the high side. Actually catching a little bit there on Swade, entering lap number 5 here as he goes side by side with Kevin Robinson. Even though they're running side by side, Dustin, they're still running a little bit faster than your leader, almost at least identical lap times again. And actually, he falls to the wayside of Kevin there, at least in turn 3, but turn 4, Kenny said, nope, I've got a little more something to show for you here. bumper out, but he gets a little loose there actually and gives it all completely up to Kevin Robinson. Now he's going to be focused on Suede.
Absolutely. So, again, Kenny Haight has been one known to go for that high side. He does like that high side there, but it seems like he is struggling. He's losing a lot of speed on the corner exit now, which is what gave it up for Kevin Robinson. Now Robinson's, again, sight set on the 15 of Suede Milgaard, but it looks like he's spacing it out just a little bit as he's now starting to get into his groove. The way that these drivers were racing at the start of it, though, I'm excited, Jeremy, to see this A-main race because I tell you what, I think we're going to see some action-packed, door-to-door, Nerf bar to Nerf bar racing like we have been accustomed to seeing in this series.
Yeah, last week they put on one hell of a show. Definitely looking forward to this main race. I think some of these guys are going to get their cars tweaked up, and it's going to be a much better race than they see race number 2. They're getting their cars a little more comfortable. They're trying to figure out what they need for that final last-minute tune-up before the A-main. We are on the last lap here. Suede, super comfortable lead, quarter of a lap, basically ahead of second place. Exiting turn 4 and easily will take the top spot. Kevin Robinson's going to fall to second place. It looks like Kenny Haight will take top 3, and then Christopher Hill did have to park early with some damage he had on the inside tire, taking 4th place.
So, again, excellent racing that we had seen there. Really excited with what we are going to be seeing. Now, to make mention, we had talked about the bounty system in the dirt street stock, where we had kind of brought that up. Almost as just a joke, just kind of playing around for some of us that are used to dirt racing at their local tracks, and there's a bounty system for somebody who's on a hot streak. And we seen Melgaard knock Zach Burnett's off of his win streak that he had. The unfortunate thing is somebody who has been on the win streak is not here today. We don't see the 0 of Jordan Gage, which is unfortunate. We're used to and accustomed to seeing his black number 0 out here slinging some dirt and making some moves, and we don't see him here today.
That's great that you mentioned it too. He's actually positioned number 2 in the points. He's 5 points ahead of Justin Pentecoff. So, them not being here, he's going to drop at least 3 or 4 positions in the point standings, regardless of running order. Well, at least 2 positions, I would say for sure, because they're pretty tight up there in the top 5 for the most part. Sean Krawcheck got a decent point lead over. It looks like 28 points over Jordan, so it's going to be nothing but improved from that. To round out let's go over the running order here for tonight's main event. Looks like we got Sean Krawcheck taking P1, Suede Melgaard taking P number 2. Justin Pentecoff is going to be 3rd place. Kevin Robinson on his outside in position number 4. Clifford Bellamy in position number 5. Kenny Haight, position number 6. Dane Lloyd, newcomer, position number 7th. Christopher Hill on his outside. Blake Trawick going to round out your field in 9th place. Pace truck is down from the backstretch perspective. This really interesting pit road. Cars are in turn number 4. Green flag is in the air.
Green.
Sean takes the green flag, and a great start by Suede to go side by side and enter turn 1 here. They're 2 by 2, almost 3 wide there in the mid pack there. The leaders get a little bit spaced out early on, and outside is starting to show itself a little bit here. You see the track surface a little more grooved in earlier than what the street stocks were for sure. Kenny Haight almost makes contact with the 6 there. They're checking up 5 is hard in the wall on the outside. It's Christopher Hill. He is now upside down. 2 cars upside down. And I think we should see a caution here.
All right, man.
And there it is. Caution is out.
Yeah, that was just hard racing. Those guys were 2 and 3 wide there, and unfortunately, it looks like Kevin Robinson's going to get the worst end of that one as he turtled it right down there on top of one of those white tires. But it was hard racing there. They just ran out of track. Everybody, the natural order of these is they slide up the track with the inertia and the momentum that these things pull sliding through the corners, and it just ran out of real estate on that one. A couple bounces off the wall, and if you hit these hard enough on that wall, it's going to upset that car, and it upset the 5 of Chris Hill and the 60 of Kevin Robinson, with Robinson being the one that paid a little bit heftier price on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was almost 2 separate incidences, and it's still both cars flip. We don't see that too often where 2 cars will flip on the same wreck, so that's the heavy damage. Fast repair used. I think they got 1 more left after that one, but good thing they used it early on, right? So I mean, they're back and they're still going to compete on lap number 3 and 4. So really, no harm, no foul in the first one. Just don't use up 2 more chances there. But yeah, the first couple laps though, minus that wreck, it was looked like it's gonna be some pretty good action-packed racing. So that kind of excites me for what we're gonna see here later on.
Yeah, it should definitely be some really good racing. As you can see here lining up, this is the Delaware restart that we were talking about. The leader gets sole possession of their lane. Nobody else is there. Second place gets choice of inside or outside. The 15 of Melgard obviously has chosen the inside lane, and everybody lines up behind him. So again, that leader, Kracek, he gets that front row to himself. Racing is on the leader. As they go, he stomps the gas and hauls some ass off through turn 4. Green flag is officially in the air now. Again, an excellent start there with the 15 of Melgard falling in place. The 46 of Hate, though, is one of those that has been getting gradually better on restarts. He does say that that is probably one of his better qualities and traits that he has, and he definitely made do with that one. As back in the back, we've seen a little contact, and the 5 is around. We did see contact between the 56 of Trawick and the 5 of Hill, and it does look like Hill does spin it, but he does regain it and is now heading in the right direction.
Yeah, we saw in heat race number 2, he was having some troubles here, and it's showing off again. He just got into the wall, and with these cars with the tires being exposed, when he hit the wall, the tires gripped the wall really easily, and it did throw him into the wall, which caused him to spin out. He has regrouped it, no caution, but he's going to need a caution to get back up there and compete for any position, because he's just way far behind. Blake also with a little bit of contact with him as well. He got a little upset there. His car did, for that matter. So he's kind of spaced out again in the back end position number 7. As you go to the top 5, though, it's getting pretty racy there for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and even 6th. They're pretty close nose to tail in perspective, especially with Kenny there, which I like to see him in the top 5, man. He ran good there in the street stocks, and he's showing off some good speed here in the big blocks. Maybe it's just his track, or he's getting some good practice, or what's going on, but he's definitely made a little turnaround, so to speak, for his performance here. It does look like Justin does take his spot for position number 4 to drop Skinny back to 5th place. Right now, your leader is definitely checked out, which is Sean Kracek, but don't count out Suede. He did show some really good speed all race in that street stock race, and he's got that low side digging. Actually, a lot of cars right now are trying that low side again. They saw what the street stocks could do down there, and surprisingly they did prevail, but a lot of people are following suit behind Suede.
Yeah, and a lot of them are going down to that low side there. I do see Kracek kind of searching the last few laps. He had been running that high side right up against that wall. Now, as we see it on the live feed there, he is running that low side and then drifts up to the mid as he exits the corner. One thing that we didn't get to see, and neither driver got to see their speed, is Kracek and Melgard have not raced each other. This is the first race they have actually raced each other in competition, and it's kind of it's going to be interesting to see, knowing Kracek, how dominant he is in this series.
Car over. Caution is out. Sorry to interrupt you there. What car was that? That was the Christopher Bellamy. Nailed the street tire there in turn 4 and just completely rolled him over. Heavy damage to that car. He'll be using a fast prepare for sure.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of cars, and you had made mention of it, we've seen it in the heat races, Jeremy, that a lot of these cars seem like they're, I don't know, they're just off on their setup. Something isn't right. The drivers are fighting them in certain aspects. It hasn't been one of our more smoother races that we're used to, not due to driver-on-driver contact, but more fighting the car in contact with the wall, or losing control of the car, more to say.
Yeah, that's just the product of this track. I mean, typically the line's only like 1 or 2 grooves. It's not everywhere. So you kind of have to dial your car in for a specific area, and if that area gets taken up or whatnot, then you have to force your car into a position that it's not built for. So that's why the cars are a little bit more, not so, complete, so to speak. They're searching a little bit, at least in midfield and back of the field. And of course, if you don't know how your car runs down that late run or early run, your car will be a little upset. So that's kind of the nature of the track. It's not like Lyman Land last week where you can just throw your car anywhere and have a preference. So, again, just nature of the track. And it looks like Highline hasn't kicked in. Surprisingly, again, it's definitely a lot of cars on the bottom. So, and people don't have their setups for the bottom, I would imagine. So that's why they're like that. And of course, when you don't know how your car feels on the bottom, that's how Clifford got tagged on that tire there because he didn't expect his car. As we go back to green flag racing, Sean with another awesome restart there, pulling about 5 car lengths over Swade Melgard. As Kenny Haight gets in the back slightly, as Swade doesn't cause any wreck though. We're still good to go. Kenny Haight remaining in position number 3, and Justin Pentecoff after that big scare with Clifford flipping right in front of him. He's gonna be 4th place as they're actually almost 3 wide in the back for 5th, 6th, and 7th here. Running in the grass, Kevin Robinson did. Checked up the O2 of Christopher there. Still running real tight in the back. As you go back to 3rd place, Kenny is on the bumper of Sway Melgard. Kenny's got some new speed on the bottom.
Yeah, you said the racing, I mean, there's racing action all over the place. We're watching Robinson right now, who's right on the inside of the 45 of Lloyd. But he's getting a lot of pressure from behind by Bellamy. So, again, the racing real close. And just in front of that group is the 56 of Trawick. So, again, a lot of drivers right there. Really good. But you are right. Kenny has been really putting, since the drop of the green flag on this last restart, has been putting the pressure on the 15 there. So, I don't know, where he's finding the speed. I do see that he has dropped from that high side down to the mid to low side. So maybe he has found some unfound races. We do have another caution out on the track.
Yep, it looks like it was the 45 of Dane Lloyd and the O2 of Christopher Bellamy. Dane Lloyd tagged the wall, and with that tire grip on the wall, just instantly put his car to a stop and nowhere for Clifford to go. And he just T-boned the door of the 45. That's going to make the second fast repair for Clifford be used, so he's got 16 laps to not wreck it again, or else his car is going to be done for this evening. That's putting a little bit of pressure on there for the newcomer to try to run a clean race for the next 16 laps.
Yeah, it is, as we see the 45 of Dane Lloyd went in and used a quick repair, his radiator fully exposed on that one. So again, hard impact, and that's the downside to these open fendered cars. These wheels stick out. Once those front wheels hit that wall, they tend to what is known as wall glue. It grabs you and just sticks you right to that wall, and it's one, hard to get off, and two, it cuts your speed down. And in this case, it cut it down to almost a stop, almost like you're hitting air brakes. It's an unfortunate thing, but it's one of the challenges in these big block modifieds or any open fender race cars here in iRacing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, wall glue is very treacherous. Definitely no fun, as you've seen. Like, there's no way to escape it. Once you hit it, it's over. Pace truck is down, turn 3. Sean Krawcheck again taking the restart advantage. Gets about a 5 car length advantage again entering turn 1, maybe a little further this time. Really controlling these restarts well. Keeping very minimal pressure on his top spot. Swade wants this long run, though. He really wants it. I think he has something for him if he can get 10 laps straight, with about 15 laps to go at this point in time. Justin with a good, strong run there on the bottom takes over 3rd place over Kenny Haight. Get really actually pretty close to Swade for that matter. So maybe Justin found something a little different there late in that second run before the caution would come out. Kenny dropping back to 5th place. His car slowing down a little bit as Kevin Robinson trying to resume that position. He's got a really good strong car in entry to middle, but after that it just falls off a lot. Allowed Kevin just to take that advantage over Kenny for that 5th place. Single file throughout the whole field at this moment.
Yeah, and one thing that you were talking about with Kenny that I've also seen in a couple other ones, because we're wondering where they're getting that speed, is Kenny was stuck up on that high side. Little contact between Haight and the 0-2 of Bellamy, allowing the 60 of Kevin Robinson to get on the inside. Powers by. Bellamy not done with this one yet, though, trying to power and muscle back up to try to regain and take that position back, but it does look like Robinson is going to clear and officially take that position. Now setting his sights on Haight, but as I was stating, Haight was stuck up on that high side, and it looks like a lot of the speed has gone out of there. That low side still seems like it got the grip, it's got the speed, it's a short way around the track, and as you can tell now that some of these drivers have moved down to that low side, they're moving forward more and more. So again, it looks like that high line has not come in yet with 10 laps to go. As I tell you what, the 0-2 of Clifford Bellamy is going to make a fool out of me, because he's making that high line work as he's finally getting in his groove as well. So again, just as I was explaining it, that high line could be coming in as you see the 45 back there on that high line, as well as the 60 of Robinson now all following suit.
Yeah, I was just going to say you probably weren't watching the 0-2, but then you clicked right over to him. So definitely making some progress on that top lane, almost shaving off his fender each and every corner. Justin Pentecoff and Swade second and third. They got a little too close there for comfort, it looked like, and trying to check each other up a little bit and allow Sean to pull even further. As Sean has now switched to the high side, maybe just because he's set a huge lead, that's where he's most comfortable, and don't throw on the bottom there where it's a little flatter, a little harder to drive. Clifford really stretching that high side out, does slap the wall in turn 3, and look at this coming right up to Justin. He is on excellent speed up there. Now he's going to be side by side with Justin. I think Swade's slowing up a little bit, at least Justin Pentecoff's preferred line. And he's just going to gobble them up here. He actually might even take second place entering turn 4. He gets close to being side by side with Swade here. Takes it right now. Look at him and the 45 are just completely flipped the line here. And now he's got his sights set on your leader, Sean Krawcheck.
I tell you what, I mean, we're on board right now with the 0-2 of Clifford Bellamy, and it's amazing how fast he gets such an excellent run. His exit, his corner exit with this car is where he's making his time. Corner entry and through the apex, he's right on par with everybody else, but where he's getting them is on that high side with that corner exit there. He's so smooth and carries so much speed that, I mean, he's hitting 109 mile an hour on this track here, running that high line, diving it off near that wall, going into turns 1 and turn 3.
Oh, for sure. Crazy amount of speed at this track here. The 45, Dane Lloyd, position number 3. Two newcomers going to be taking podium here if they keep this up. Entering the final lap, Sean Krawcheck is checked out for sure, but 45 does change his lineup here. He's going to need to try something on the final lap. He's got the faster car on the top lane, but if you can't pass him, it's going to be... Yep, he runs the same line. He's going to be comfortable holding third place. Sean Krawcheck taking your top spot. Going to be Clifford Bellamy going to be taking position number 2. Dane Lloyd, position number 3. Justin Pentecoff with position number 4. Round out the top 5 is Swade Melgard. Position number 6, Kenny Haight. 7th place, Kevin Robinson. 8th place, Blake Trawick. And to round out the field there is Christopher Hill.
So I tell you what, Jeremy, that was completely flip-flop from the way that race had been running. I mean, where did the 0-2 of Bellamy and the 45 of Lloyd, where did they come from? If you recall, Lloyd was involved in that prior incident, getting wall glued. That's what brought that whole conversation on, and had to come in and use a quick repair. And he was at the back of the pack, and he come from the back in just 16 laps to claim a podium. So again, these drivers coming out of essentially nowhere to pick that up, and we seen the 15 of Melgard, who had been running so strong trying to chase down Krawcheck, fell back to almost falling outside the top 5.
Yeah, Clifford actually flipped the car over early in that race, I think like lap 4. So I guess one faster pair mated with another faster pair, and it produced a fast car on that. Remember how I mentioned that he needed to keep it clean? Well, he didn't care. He threw his car to a whole new line, and it actually worked a lot better. Scraping the wall, it still produced a lot of speed up there. So, I don't know where he found it. He just, I guess, was trying something different that he hadn't tried before, and it worked amazingly. And Dane was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and follow you, and just take me to a top 3." It's basically what it seemed like right there.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, it's I don't blame Dane at all on that one, seeing how it was working for Clifford. So, I mean, why not jump to that high side if you can run it? And they both obviously could run it. It just both of them running the same line, not enough laps to try to battle the 0-2 of Clifford for that second position was that of Dane Lloyd. But again, overall, that was amazing racing that was going on. Good to see some new names here, and good to see, I mean, the finishing orders jumbled up like that. It makes it hard to call on what's exactly going to happen or where you think individuals are going to end up. So again, excellent racing here for the Super DIRTcar Big Block Modified Series.
100%. Looks like our third place finisher, newcomer Dane Lloyd. I think we do have a copy with him. Dane, are you with us?
Sir.
Dane, welcome to the league, man. Your car was like midfield, so to speak, until the last 10 laps or so, and Clifford kind of showed you the way there on the high side. You and him just found a crazy amount of speed that we didn't see coming at all. Everyone was freight train in the bottom, and then you two are like, you know what? We're going to create a new line, and we're going to get this done. Welcome to the league, man. How did you feel like how the race went tonight for you?
And I felt it was good. I haven't drove these big blocks in a while, so we were back there just running and kind of, like you said, it was a train on the bottom, and Cliff said, I'm going to try the high side. I said, I'm going with you. So, and it worked. I figured Swede and Justin would catch on to us coming, but they never moved up, so it all worked out.
Yeah, for sure. Entering the top 3 spot, I would definitely say it worked out for you. You said you hadn't run these cars in a while, so I have to ask, like, was it just you were knocking off the rust a little bit in that first half of the race to get you going to find some speed in the second half of the race, or what was your strategy there?
No, I wish, man. I'm not real good at these cars. They got too much power for me. Just learning how, throttle control on these is so important. And it just took a while to get it back, but it was all fun.
Man, not any good in these cars. You could have fooled me for sure. I'm not even going to bullshit on that one there. Again, seeing some of the struggles that you were having early in that race, it's what in your mind did you have to overcome? Was it the car? Was it the track? What was it yourself? To try to get you in the mindset which set up for that last 16-lap run that you and Clifford both made. What was your mindset in that?
Yeah, I run a lot of street stock, so, and it's full throttle, so it just took a while to get back to figuring out these cars are faster the slower you go, actually. And, it feels crazy to you, but, it's just a matter of backing out of the throttle to get them go fast.
I tell you, it was amazing to watch you to work that. Now, talking about you and Clifford going, you were getting real close to his rear frame there on those closing laps. With the way that everything was running, do you feel like if we had a few more laps in this event here, and obviously that the cobwebs kind of got blown off a little bit, and you were starting to hit your groove, do you think you would have had anything to challenge the 0-2 for that second position?
It's hard to say. He was just as good, if not better, in 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 is where I was really making up ground on him. But I wasn't going to take a chance, not have driven him in a while. I didn't want to take a chance to try to throw a slider or anything on him. So I probably would have just laid back and let it ride.
Well, I tell you what, with the finish that you had after the first half of the race, to come back to finish podium like that, I can't say that I blame you. That taking the conservative approach on that one there is to not wreck out 2 fast cars, but allow 2 fast cars to get podium finishes. So again, it's a sportsman thing to do, conservative thing to do. learn to live to come back to race and win another day. So I like that approach. Again, hard-fought victory coming out of nowhere. It was a hell of a show, hell of a run on that high side, and it was fun to watch. Again, well-deserved. Is there anybody out there you'd like to shout out to? Anybody watching? Any sponsors you'd like to say thanks?
Man, just my teammates. I run with them every night. Hot Lap Heroes. That's Swede, Garrett Marshall, Kyle Jared, Jordan McAvoy, Chris Hill. And I'm probably forgetting one or so, but we just run together every night, try to make each other better.
Well, I tell you what, it is obviously working. Some of the names that you mentioned there, we have seen in action tonight, either in the dirt street stocks, the big block modifieds, or both, and they have not failed to deliver. So again, congratulations on your hard-fought and well-earned third-place podium finish. Again, that is Dane Lloyd, your third-place finisher.
Yes, sir. And Clay Atwood. I knew I was forgetting somebody.
There it is. All right. Not a name forgotten. Again, we look forward to seeing you in racing action again next week.
Thank you, man. We'll see y'all then.
All right, sounds good. Then we also have our second place finisher. It looks like Clifford is here. Clifford, you got a copy? Clifford, I don't even know, man. You flipped the car over, you spun it out, you slammed the wall, and you still came out in second place. Being a newcomer, welcome to the league, by the way, but a hell of a show, really, at the end of the race there. Just showing you and Dane, or you showed Dane the line on the outside there, the final 10 laps. What was the strategy, and how would you rate your race overall?
Overall, I was just hoping to actually make the feature, but thankfully there wasn't that many people in there. When bought myself a setup right before, and it just didn't seem to be the best ever. So I just, ran third in the heat, if I remember right, and then just riding the feature, I was just riding the bottom and stepped on it a little bit and flipped her. Thankfully, it didn't kill the car too bad. Got back there in the back, and then I just couldn't make up any ground on anybody with, what was that, about 10 to go. And I told Dane in Discord, I was like, I'm going to sell me some T-shirts. So I jumped up to the high side, and it just seemed to start digging. I was like, oh, this actually might do a little decent. So I just kept on. And then I looked back in the rearview mirror with like 2 to go, and there's Dane. So I guess he had the same idea. So I guess it just worked out, thankfully.
Yeah, you did finish third in that first heat race. I did fact check you there. Yeah, you definitely sold some T-shirts, at least one from me anyways, because, yeah, everyone started running the bottom, and I was like, oh, it looks like it's going to be just like from the street stock race. And then as soon as Dustin was making a mention of it just not really working on the high side, you and Dane just like all of a sudden just, you heard our voices somehow, then you just wanted to prove us wrong and started grinding your right rear off the wall each and every lap, and definitely just crazy amount of speed. Like you caught them and blew past second to third of the time really quickly. That was pretty impressive stuff there. Did you feel like the race was gonna be on the high side, or like how did you prepare your car, or at least for the timing that you did have preparation?
Actually, I just loaded the setup the way it came. I was actually kind of worried about fuel, maybe having a little too much. I've never been good in the big blocks or the 358 mods. That's just a little bit too much power for me usually, and I'm whiskey throttling the whole way around. I just was trying to learn throttle control. That's why I was staying on the bottom half the race, and then Swede was basically saying that it was time to be the high side hustler, and I was like, nah, I can't do that. I don't got enough throttle control for that. And then it just came time. I mean, I'm just going to run Sixler or so might as well put it up there and see what.
Well, I would say that it definitely worked. And you know what? If being wrong is going to lead to some last lap race in action of that caliber, count me wrong every single day when it comes to these races. But Jeremy was right. I was just talking about it, the very same freight train that you were talking about on that low line. And just as I was saying that, I seen your 0-2 hop right up to that high side, and it was just game on from there. I actually did some inboards. Jeremy and I were actually on board with you with telemetry You guys, I mean, you were making up. The ground was just on your runs off the corner. You were so smooth off the corner. You were picking up so much speed. You were carrying almost 110 mile an hour going into turns 1 and 3, based off the onboard telemetry. So I mean, you were flying there, and it looked like you were comfortable. Was it comfortable up there later in that race? As you were, I mean, you were letting it hang out.
It definitely didn't feel like it was getting a little too hanging out too far. On the bottom, everybody was, like you said, was a freight train, so it was just burning off really quickly. So the only real moisture left, it seemed like, was up at the top. So, and that's where I'm usually most comfortable, especially in a street stock. If there's a high side to be found, I'll definitely try to bang the